Hi, this is Kazarov.
U.S. President Donald Trump is reportedly considering military strikes against drug cartels operating inside Venezuela, marking a sharp escalation in U.S.-Venezuelan tensions. This comes on the heels of a U.S. airstrike that sank a vessel in the southern Caribbean, killing 11 people whom officials claim were members of the Tren de Aragua cartel. The administration has dispatched 3 naval destroyers and around 4,000 Marines to the region and deployed 10 F-35 stealth fighter jets to Puerto Rico. Trump has branded these cartels, and implicitly the Maduro regime, as narco-terrorists, while rejecting claims that he's pursuing regime change. In retaliation, Venezuela conducted a provocative flyover of a U.S. warship. Meanwhile, Democrats are frustrated after a planned bipartisan briefing on the strike was abruptly canceled, raising oversight concerns.
Oh, this is wild. On one hand, you've got Trump saying cartels are terrorist groups. I'm sending warships, F-35s. We are done playing games. And that visceral 11 killed video on Truth Social, dramatic, feels like Middle East style warfare right in the Caribbean. You've got to ask yourself, is this drug war or political theater? I mean, as a centrist, you are torn. Drug trafficking is undeniably a massive threat. Fentanyl and all that rolling into America. But is it smart to blow up boats and launch military ops without clear evidence, congressional backing, or a legal framework? Feels like bypassing due process. And even if you take out cartel boats, do you solve the underlying issues? Poverty, corruption, demand for drugs? Not so much. Then there's the optics. Maduro mobilizes a militia, flies jets over US ships, and frames it as imperial aggression. Meanwhile, Trump claims he's not going for regime change. Yes, the scale of force seems like coercion, pressure through firepower. A centrist worry, is this borderless duty to stop cartels or unwarranted aggression against a sovereign state? Is there an exit plan? Because escalation without clear goals is a Pandora's box. And think about the bigger picture. Does the average American even know where Venezuela is on the map, or that it's already in chaos from economic collapse? If you drop bombs there, you are stepping into a mess. It's one thing to stop a drug boat, it's another to start a shadow war with no off ramp. That's what worries me most.
Following the initial strike and deployment, Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned that such strikes will happen again, reinforcing a sustained military posture. Meanwhile, the Pentagon and State Department remain tight-lipped about broader campaign objectives, providing little transparency. Venezuela has slammed the actions as violations of its sovereignty and criminal under international law, while some U.S. lawmakers have voiced concerns over the apparent lack of congressional authorization under the War Powers Resolution. The Justice Department's $50 million bounty on Maduro further underscores the administration's aggressive stance, prompting alarm among regional governments and prompting calls for UN scrutiny.
All right. Look, you put a 50 million bounty on Maduro, and you're telling people we'll strike again. You are layering all these pressure points, military, legal, financial. It feels like they're trying to destabilize a regime, but saying it's all about stopping drugs. That dual messaging is alarming. As a centrist, I'd say this. I get the frustration with cartels. Yes, violence, mass addiction, destabilization. But pulling the trigger on military force without Congress, without international agreement, opens a can of worms. What about unintended casualties? A misidentified vessel? An escalation into tip for tap air power? Venezuela's already flying jets low over US ships. This is starting to feel like a powder keg, not a precision strike. Also, when experts flag that this may not even be legal under international law of the War Powers Act, you get to wonder, are we eroding norms that keep us anchored in law instead of acting like a rogue superpower? If the goal is real drug interdiction, maybe we need a smarter plan, diplomatic coordination, demand reduction, intelligence cooperation with Latin American partners. Follow the money trail, not just bombs. But damn, watching politics, I can't ignore that visceral roar of protect us. People want action because drugs kill their kids, wreck towns. A centrist stance here, support tough action, but demand accountability. Make sure the evidence is solid, Congress is briefed, partners are on board, and that there's a path to de escalation. Because here's the thing, once you normalize strikes like this, it's not just Venezuela, it could be Mexico, Colombia, anywhere. And then what? America becomes the global sheriff with no limits. That's not safety, that's a forever war.